So shares on Wall Street have slumped today, led by the Nasdaq, which plunged by as much as 4% at one point earlier.
They call it the hidden yield of purpose, the return no market tracks but every life depends on. We spend decades investing in money, but almost none investing in meaning.
If you look at the economy, it grows over time.
What if your greatest portfolio isn't in your bank account, but in your purpose? Because the biggest investment you'll ever make isn't financial, it's personal. And the yield is your life. Every second, the global markets process more data than any civilization in history. Money moves faster than thought. Algorithms blink, fortunes shift, and somewhere, another record is broken. We can price everything: risk, volatility, even attention. But there's one asset we've never learned to price: meaning. We've built an economy that rewards productivity but punishes presence. We've turned time into currency, and somewhere along the line forgot what it was for. If disengagement were a country, it would have the third largest economy on Earth. Gallup says meaningless work costs nearly 9% of global GDP every year. I used to think burnout was just exhaustion until I saw the numbers. It's not fatigue, it's economic leakage. The invisible tax we pay for a life misaligned. We call it burnout. Economists call it inefficiency. But the truth is simpler. We've mistaken money for motion. There's a hidden asset class no one talks about, a yield no market indexes, yet it may be the most powerful return of all. Markets speak in numbers. Humans speak in meaning. For most of history, those languages never met, but the data now say they must. Purpose shows up everywhere economics forgot to look. In health, purposeful adults spend less on healthcare, use more preventive care, and live healthier lives. Purpose is the quiet dividend payer of public health. In time, high-purpose adults live longer, roughly 5 extra years of healthy life. That's 5 extra periods of compounding. Each day lived with intent is an extra dividend reinvested. In cognition, purpose delays decline. Older adults with higher purpose show about 30% lower risk of dementia. That's capital preservation, keeping your decision-making assets longer. In behavior, purpose creates what economists call behavioral alpha: better choices, more consistent savings, less impulsive spending. Purpose filters noise. It's the firewall between desire and decision. Inside companies, the pattern repeats. Organizations built on authentic purpose and managerial clarity outperform peers in innovation and retention. Because what steadies a person, steadies a system. Purpose isn't a slogan, it's infrastructure. When it scales, economies stabilize. But if purpose can move companies, could it move countries? Civilization runs on energy. We used coal, then oil, then data. Now we need the fourth kind: meaning. GDP measures motion, not direction. A nation can grow while its citizens feel useless. That's growth without gain. Countries with higher life purpose show higher productivity and lower healthcare costs. Purpose has become a supply-side variable, the quiet fuel of the modern economy. When recessions hit, regions with strong civic purpose recover faster. Meaning behaves like psychological capital, absorbing volatility before policy does. The World Bank found that communities rich in civic purpose rebound faster from crises. Meaning is macroeconomic resilience disguised as motivation. Corporations see the same curve. Companies that integrate clear purpose outperform their peers in ROA and stock returns. Purpose isn't just emotional hygiene, it's financial hygiene. And this isn't Western theory. In Kenya, youth cooperatives linking microfinance to purpose-driven projects saw repayment rates 30% higher than standard programs. When meaning is collateral, trust becomes currency. At scale, purpose becomes infrastructure for trust. Where trust flows, capital follows. Where meaning flows, innovation accelerates. New Zealand, Finland, Japan, each prove that when governments invest in purpose-driven policy, budgets breathe and communities strengthen. Purpose isn't soft economics, it's survival economics. The code that keeps systems human. Behind every data point is a heartbeat. Every GDP figure hides a parent, a teacher, a worker deciding if their hours still matter. Purpose doesn't just move individuals, it moves demographics and labor markets. By 2050, 1 in 5 citizens will be over 65. But in Japan, regions with higher ikigai, life purpose, keep people working longer and living healthier. Purpose turns a demographic crisis into a dividend. At work, the same pattern holds. Engaged employees generate higher productivity, lower absenteeism, and stronger loyalty. Meaning is the world's most underestimated efficiency technology. Let's return to Jordan, the warehouse supervisor who mentored 2 students each week. He started small, but something shifted. Fewer sick days, clearer focus, better savings habits. "I didn't change my job," he said. "I changed why I showed up." Then there's Nora and Sam, the couple nearing retirement who refused to defer meaning. They volunteered, taught, and built a rhythm of purpose into their days. Their vitality rose, their costs fell, and their time became wealth. Communities rich with purpose behave like immune systems. They adapt, heal, and regenerate. When citizens thrive, GDP quietly follows. But what happens when a whole society forgets to live with purpose? We were told patience is virtue. Work now, live later. But somewhere between discipline and deferral, a trap was set. What if the real debt isn't financial, it's emotional? The slow interest on unlived days. Each postponed hour of meaning carries compound interest and fatigue. Every deferred dream inflates the cost of living, not in dollars, but in vitality. Societies that neglect purpose pay twice, first in health, then in hope. For the middle class, deferral feels responsible. Earn, repay, provide, then live. But purpose isn't a luxury. It's the energy that keeps those plans solvent. Each year without alignment adds interest to emotional debt, burnout, anxiety, detachment. Purpose reverses that curve, and the debt is inherited. Children learn not what you earn, but what you burn for. You can't backpay for wonder. Meaning compounds only in real time. Freedom isn't what waits at the end of work. It begins the moment your effort finds its reason. Freedom used to mean escape, the day work stops. But real freedom is hidden inside why you work. We've priced everything except the reason to wake up. And now, that omission is catching up to us. We were taught freedom was arrival. But happiness doesn't spike when you stop working. It spikes when your work stops feeling pointless. The modern world gave us abundance and anxiety, options and emptiness. We built an economy so efficient it forgot its purpose. Now we live in an invisible prison, not of poverty, but of purposelessness. True freedom isn't the absence of obligation. It's the presence of alignment. When your hours serve something that feels alive, time expands instead of evaporating. Meaning is the one asset no algorithm can arbitrage. Living with purpose is the final act of resistance. Because every time you choose meaning, you vote against emptiness. The wealthy may buy time, The wise invest it. The dividend isn't paid in dollars. It's paid in days that matter. If the 20th century was the age of accumulation, then the 21st must be the age of alignment. We can't afford another generation who survives by paycheck but starves for purpose, because the true scarcity now isn't capital, it's meaning. Every civilization collapses when it forgets what its wealth was for. Every human life declines the moment it trades wonder for routine. We thought progress was about more speed, more scale, more output. But the real revolution might be less noise, less numbness, less detachment. The hidden yield of purpose isn't just an idea, it's a warning. If meaning doesn't return to our equations, no economy can save us. So maybe the future doesn't belong to those who have the most time, but to those who use it with intention. Maybe freedom isn't an escape from work, but a reunion with why we started working in the first place. Because purpose is the compound interest of the soul, and like any investment, it rewards those who begin early and stay consistent. One day, the markets may find a way to price meaning, but until then, the yield is yours to claim.